make Alderman Williams happy, it's all men.
Don't nobody ask that question.
That'll make you happy.
I was gonna ask, where are the women?
No, I'm fair.
You do realize that our women hiring still needs to be increased. Still gotta increase our female hiring.
The men are the minorities, you know.
I still might ask since it's only 3 up there.
Not with our employees, they're not.
I'm gonna ask the question.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get back at it. Next on the docket this evening is the Office of Public Works, and before us tonight is the Director, David Fuchs. David, you're up.
Thank you, Alderman. I appreciate it. Good evening, all.
Director, I'm sorry, I got to interrupt you one time. Before you get into it, one of the things I know you came in after, typically what happens is towards the first of the year, the turn of the January, February, we as individual council members have an opportunity to meet with your staff, go over individual projects within our wards that the department is planning, whether it was an overlay project, sidewalk programs, other improvements. And then we as council members have an opportunity to provide feedback and kind of get into the direction of that. Is that your intention to offer that to us individually again?
Most certainly.
I figured as much, but I just wanted to make sure. So that's our opportunity to really get into what's going to be done and what we would like to see in our individual wards, correct?
Certainly.
Okay,
Certainly.
thank you very much. Please proceed.
Thank you. Good evening, all. First off, I would like to thank the mayor for the opportunity to serve with your outstanding team. This has been a challenge like I have never faced before.
One word, duration.
Derecho.
Nate says, wait for the snow.
Well, it's coming. It's coming. I'd also like to say to all the members of the city council, I feel that I have established a working relationship with each and every one of you. We've communicated via the phone, via email, and you've caught me on the street quite a few times. I feel that our office is as responsive as we can be. I know sometimes you may think we're not as responsive as we could be, but we work very hard at that. And to continue that modus operandi, I'm joined by three gentlemen from my staff, our city engineer, Nate Bottom, the director of Oak Ridge Cemetery, Greg Talley, and our chief fiscal officer, Matt Gairani. If it's possible to have 3 strong right arms, I do, and they're right here. But they represent the dedicated professionalism that I have found in the Public Works Department from top to bottom. It is an honor to serve with these men and women and to lead them. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm here to present the budget for the Department of Public Works. Our first slide up are the divisions. There are 13 divisions in Public Works. Our street division provides tree services, solid waste, alley and potholes, and beautification. Traffic, sign making and maintenance, pavement markings, traffic control, and barricades. Sewer division. They televise, inspect, clean, and repair our sewers. Building division. They ensure commercial and residential structures are maintained and constructed properly and safely. Zoning. Enforce zoning code to ensure orderly growth and that complement existing uses to avoid spot zoning. The Housing division. Ensure residents and businesses are maintaining their properties to combat blight and proliferation. The Engineering division. Capital improvement planning, development oversight. GIS provides mapping, data analytics, and software management to improve operations. Waste and recycling, coordinating waste and recycling operations, including hazardous waste, electronic waste, and large item pickup programs. And the Facilities Maintenance Division performs janitorial and maintenance activities of the municipal complex. Mr. Bottom is handling the clicker for me this evening because I am ambidextrous. That means I'm clumsy with both of my hands. We are adding headcount at the Department of Public Works. We're adding 5 zone managers, a project manager, a Development Liaison, Engineering 3, who will expedite reviews and inspections, a Buildings and Grounds Supervisor, an Admin Secretary, and an Equipment Operator at Oak Ridge Cemetery. FY25 budget. We are requesting approximately $101.7 million for FY25, which is $14.6 million less than was requested in FY24. Personal services is increased due to the additional headcount to offer a higher level of service. Electronic data processing is increased due to the electronic review tables for online permit review and markup and CityWorks implementation and expansion. Contractual services, equipment, operation of auto equipment, and permanent improvement budget requests have decreased. Next slide is the pie chart. You will see that approximately half of the budget is for permanent improvements, 21% for personal services, and 20% for contractual services. FY25 budget, the corporate fund. Personal services is up due to 8 of the 10 employees budgeted in the corporate fund. Contractual services are up due to proposed demolition of multiple Old Town apartment units in the amount of $560,000. $150,000 for tree planting, this is grant revenue, and electronic data processing is up due to the smart tables for the electronic plan review. Non-corporate fund. Personal services is up with 2 of the 10 additional employees are in the non-corporate funds. Commodities are also up due to the increase in the price of road salt. FY 2024 accomplishments. We have infrastructure improvements are 10 miles of overlay and conversions, 8 miles of seal coat, 5 miles of concrete patching, 1 mile of brick repairs, 12 miles of micro surfacing, 2 miles of bituminous mastic, 25 miles of crack filling, 125,000 square feet of sidewalks, and 161 curb ramps. We have accomplished at Cook and South Grand, the underpass demolition, utility relocates, and the Norfolk Southern track installation. At Madison and Jefferson, the underpass was demolished, utility relocates, and the Norfolk Southern bridge construction. On Stanford, between 11th and Fox Bridge, utility relocates, and a storm sewer is being installed. Downtown signal modernization. We also have the one-way to two-way, which will be accomplished this spring, and the Churchill Road Bridge reconstruction. FY 2024 accomplishments. Our operational performance. It's a long list. We have over 4,550 service requests, over 21,500 Julie tickets processed, over 7,300 work orders, and over 5,120 building permits for a total of $187.5 million valuation. 53 zoning cases of 212 complaints. Housing, over 7,100 complaints, with 156.6 thousand fines collected. Demolitions, 65 city contracts, 19 owners with cases, and 15 repaired. We have the bi-weekly yard waste, quarterly branch pickup, northeast and southeast tree inventory has been completed, and Tree City USA and the Growth Award. Community engagement with Public Works. We've had a number of community meetings on Springfield Rail, the Northeast Pilot Area, and the MLK Road Diet. Our community events, we participated in Build, the Pumpkin Smash, which was a big hit, hazardous household waste drop-off at the State Fairgrounds. We participated in the Earth Day Fair and the Arbor Tree Giveaway. We also appear regularly at business and neighborhood associations as we are invited. At Oak Ridge Cemetery, we've had a busy year. We've had 254 burials, over $226,000 in memorial and foundation sales, and over $990,000 in revenue. Our FY25 requests for an additional equipment operator, the columbarium project, and the removal of the cupola and the Oak Ridge office there at the main gate. Our accomplishments: we have finally demolished the old red barn. It's gone. Removal of 50 trees and 100 stumps. You know, we have a lot of mature trees out at the cemetery. And we have established a volunteer group for cemetery beautification. And I want to thank Mr. Talley for his leadership. These are our initiatives: planning and design, the stormwater master plan, yard waste and compost facility design, our enhanced services, the online permit and plan review, report a problem. It's going to be including geolocates and images, adding the 5 zone managers and a project manager, the development liaison. As far as our demolitions, 20 by city crews, 50 by contractors, 11 at Poplar Place, and 50 related to the rail project. My equipment needs. We've got a lot of equipment and we can't do our job without it. Our guys work hard, they run this stuff hard, and we need new equipment. 4 tandems with plow packages, 4 F-250s with plow packages, a backhoe for the tear-out crew, an end loader for the load-out guys, a telehandler for the solid waste, and believe you me, they use it all the time. 2 tandems and 1 triaxle trailer so we can haul our equipment around the city, and 2 zero-turn mowers. As you all know, we have a lot of grass to mow. Traffic, we need a traffic paint truck, 2 aero boards, 100 sections of crowd control fencing. In the sewer division, a Vector truck, and a backhoe for the repair crew. FY 2025 beautification. In terms of urban forestry, we're looking to plant 300 trees annually, and that's with an IDNR grant, and to continue our tree asset inventory. Downtown in the Old State Capitol Plaza, we want to put pedestrian covers over the stairwells that go down to the parking ramp, landscaping improvements. We want to paint the curbs. FY 2025 goals, this is for design. Design engineering, and this is number 1 on the list because it's very, very important, is the 3rd Strait redevelopment, the Union Pacific right-of-way that's going to be vacated. North Grand under and overpass, the Cockrell Lane, that's Ogden to Mathers, Cokie Mill Road, that's Old Jack to Washington, MLK Drive, Clear Lake to South Grand, safety improvements, Lawrence Avenue, MacArthur to Walnut, safety improvements, Headley Road, West White Oaks to Cokie Mill, that's improved, Adloff Lane Road improvements, Wheeler Avenue Road improvements, Carpenter, that's 5th to 6th safety improvements, 11th and South Grand safety improvements. Continue to coordinate with IDOT on a variety of projects, especially MacArthur Boulevard, Stevenson, 6th Street widening, and Sangamon and Dirksen Parkways. We have numerous engineering projects, and they're all underway. Our goals for maintenance: we want to do 10 miles of overlay, 10 miles of seal coat, 5 miles of concrete patching, 1 mile of brick repairs, 26 miles of crack filling, 2 miles of mastic patching, 12 miles of microsurfacing, 125,000 square feet of sidewalks, and 100 curb ramps. For every dollar that we spend in preventative maintenance, we can save $10 in reactive maintenance. 70 miles through increased preventive maintenance programs. It's a real plus for us. FY 2025 goals, these are our major projects, our roads and bridges. Cook and South Grand underpasses, Madison and Jefferson underpasses, Sanford Avenue reconstruction, again, that's 11th to Foxbridge, downtown traffic signal modernization, Cokie Mill and Greenbrier signals, 8th Street Bridge reconstruction, 11th and Ash traffic signals, and 11th and Laurel traffic signals. Our goals for the sewer division. We are performing sewer work throughout the city. Good example, engineering, lining projects, the Northeast Area Pilot and Lake Sewers, the Northeast Area Grouting and Lining, Forest Park Hills Lining, 2nd Street Adams to Union Lining, 5th Street Town Branch to Cook Lining, 6th Street Reynolds to Miller Lining, 4th, 5th, and 7th Streets north of Washington Lining, Converse to Watch, 19 to Ohio Lining and T-liners, Walnut, Lawrence to Kennedy Lining and T-liners, Brentwood and Briarcliff subdivisions lining, 11th Street, Adams to Jackson, and Cook to Edwards, Capitol, 11th to 12th lining. We are performing these sewer works throughout the city. This is a sewer rate history. The sewer fund was established in 1956, and there have been multiple rate increases, as you can see by this slide. Sewer rate structure review. Our sewer infrastructure needs. The U.S. EPA administrative order issued on August 29th of 2022 required the city to complete the Northeast sanitary sewer overload elimination by July 31st of 2035. Estimated to complete the Northeast area in FY23 was $71 million. The sewer operating budget is between $7.5 million and $7.8 million. The Northeast SSO elimination range, $1.3 million to $8.1 million, FY25 to FY36. Lake Springfield sewers, $10 million over 6 years. Sewer rehabilitation and repair projects throughout the city. The overall capital need for 12 years is to be $122 million to $132 million, and that's adjusted for inflation. This slide shows our proposed sewer capital plan needed to address the Northeast Area U.S. EPA administrative order, lake sewer installations, as well as sewer rehabilitation and lining projects throughout the city. These are our comparables. We've evaluated Central Illinois sewer collection rates with our comparable cities, and we have the lowest collection rate. Our proposed rates. In order to complete the improvements previously mentioned and provide high levels of operations and maintenance service, our revenues need to be increased substantially. This slide shows our proposed sewer utility cash flow balancing expenditures with revenue increases of 32% in FY25 and FY26, then 4.5% annually thereafter, allowing the sewer fund to have a 90-day cash reserve. The impacts of these sewer bills. This slide shows sewer bills impacts with the proposed rate increases through FY29. The average sewer customer using 8 cubic feet of water per month with a 5/8-inch meter, their city collection rates would increase by $4.19 a month from FY24 to FY25 for a total of $17.05 a month. Then $5.49 a month from FY25 to FY26 for a total of $22.54 a month. And finally, looking ahead, the street and traffic facility construction. Our existing facility is well past the end of its useful life. I don't know if you've been out to the city garage lately, but it's pretty beat up. This new facility would increase the equipment reliability. It would extend the life of our equipment, and we are evaluating the bonding. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my presentation for this evening. And with the assistance of my folks, we'll be glad to answer any question you might have.
Well, thank you, Director. Any questions related to the budget? Alderman Williams.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Excuse me. So, do you have female, I'm beating them to the punch. Do you have female managers? Do you have female managers?
Yes, we do.
In your department?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. And the only thing I have is the list that you showed your streets. You got Adloff listed, but you know, I'm gonna act like Chuck used to act about Hilltop. Nate, if I can address you, do we have a timeline? I know it's listed, it should be number one, by the way, but I'll listen.
We're working on design engineering at this time, phase one design, and we're planning on completing that this fiscal year and then letting the project as early as next winter.
You know, Senator, who was before Doris?
Andy Menard.
Andy Menard gave us that money. And I'm getting frustrated because of how long this process has taken and the pressures I get, because we've been telling these people over and over, we're studying, we're doing it. I'm not an engineer, and this is what I tell the neighborhood associations. But I just feel like it shouldn't, Director, it should not be that low on the list. The last I got in the emails was that they were doing some type of study that was supposed to be completed by now. And now we're saying next winter?
Yeah. Well, the cost is substantially increased as well as the scope.
Well, it's
of the
going to keep
project in order
increasing if we
for
don't
to
go
be
ahead and
done
do it.
properly.
I just think we need to go ahead and get it started, or you'll always tell me the cost keeps increasing. So I'm trying to get a timeline when we're going to start, and I think it should be in this year. And I think we need to make some adjustments to that list to make sure, because it's been a long, I just told you how long back it goes. We can date it back to then. The senator's running for re-election that took his place. So I just please work with me with that, and let's not just put it on here like it's just anything, because it's just a road that has been, people have given us the money when it could cover it, and now we're years later, we didn't have another election cycle, and I'm still getting the same answer about this same small road. How much studying does it take?
Well, it takes design, and we did pass a contract for engineering services this past year, and it is underway at this time.
And do we give them timelines when we contract with them? Like, hey, we need to get this done by a certain time so that we can move the project along? Or do we just contract with them and let them take their time?
Well, it does take some time. You have to do environmental work and get clearances, do preliminary engineering, and then move into design. I'll share with you the IDOT. It takes time so that you can understand the engineering process and how long it takes. But it is a priority, and we are working on the design at this time.
Okay, and I would like to invite you guys to the next neighborhood association meeting. You know, I just think we owe it to the people to make sure they understand what's going on with it, because we're on our fourth year. Thank you.
Anything else, Alderman Williams?
That's it.
Alderman Hanauer.
Thank you, Chair. And Alderman, I share your frustration. I've had overall 3 times I've gotten $4 million for Cockrell Lane, and we're still not. There's not much going on there. But I know the engineering, you know, and you know, and but that's not. I don't want to go over individual projects. I can meet with you guys at another time on that. In your budget, on page 11, I think it is, under awards and grants out of the garage, there's $100,000 that says for a new program for citywide tree removal grant. I'm not.
That's the one Roy put in.
Is that?
That's the one you put in.
What page you on?
Well, on my
It's in the budget.
on my sheet, I'm actually in the budget
Okay.
itself under the garage. Did you find it? I can send it to you. I just was wondering. I wasn't sure what that. I'm sure we voted on it. I can't remember what it was. When I saw it, it's not something we've had before. And
in the budget.
That was for the $100,000 for tree removal services that Alderman Williams
Yeah.
put in the previous
Okay.
budget.
Up to 250 or something like that, right? I think it was like up to 250 or something per tree or something weird like that. But yeah.
is that what it is? Okay.
I was wondering. And then, I have not, I've looked through, and guys, where, is there anything in your budget for consulting work on getting, I've asked for 8 years to get online submission of plans and online, permits. For 8 years, I've asked from the time I started. And I've said, if we need to get consultants in to help with it, is there something in the budget here that, to finish this? There's no reason why this should not be done.
Yes, there is money in the budget to complete it. We have been working with NCR2 so that we can make the payments automated as well, working with the treasurer's office in order to get that completed. And then we're just at the final steps so that we can finally implement the project. And we do have additional money built in so that we can bring that to completion with a couple of different consultants, one on the Highland side as well as our consultant for CityWorks.
And that's for the big blueprints submission as well?
That's correct, and we also are asking in this budget for iTables, basically electronic tables, so that our inspectors can do their reviews at those locations.
Because what that'll do, just so the council knows, what that will do is that will enable more than one person at a time to look at plans, spread out. Fire can look at them. They don't have to, the people don't have to come down with 4 sets of big blueprints and all that. So basically that would speed up things with the development side of things. And then also, on the permitting, they don't have to come down here to do it. They can do it all from their offices, so to speak. And so you're telling me that by this time next year, we're gonna be rolling with it?
Yes, hopefully sooner.
I would prefer it's sooner, so that's great, and that's awesome. That's really, I don't have any more. If I have any other questions, I'll reach out to you, because I will reach out to you about Linhart.
Thank you, Alderman Gregory.
Thank you, I appreciate you. So I'll just start off with my new, I do recall, but I forgot what the mayor was saying about the new garage.
So they're wanting to look at creating a new facility for the streets department.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to create a tour for each of you to come see the old one before we discuss the engineering for a new one and bonding. They do have the ground for the new one next door to the current facility, so there's no expense there. But before we ask you to entertain a bond or debt, I thought you should take a tour of the old facility.
Absolutely.
And sorry to bring in another department with this, but I have another agency that would like you to see a couple of their spaces that have mold and issues as well. So we're going to have tours.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know that was something some time ago that some of our staff was talking about, and we talked about it. So I'm happy to hear that. Just on the zone manager portion, I think that is a good thing. I think it helps us. I think we need 4, especially in the situation we're in. I think we need 4 instead of 5. I'm big on equipment. Like when I look at the budget, I hate to see us go down $14 million and then say we need equipment. When you first came up here to speak, I think just about every last one of us hit our clickers. And from what I'm looking at, and we still got some to go, that's the most that any of us wanted to talk, because this department affects us all, and particularly our community, really, really bad. So, that's just my take on it. Maybe 3, maybe 4. I know it's heavy in our inner cities as far as fly dumping and things that we really need to do with housing, etc. In our inner city, and I really think that's where a large portion of the focus. Another one of my questions about our zone managers, do they have vehicles or?
We are in the process of obtaining vehicles. I think we have 2 or 3 right now. 2 of the individuals have already started and begun their training. We have 2 more individuals that are set to begin in the next couple of weeks. Okay. We have a training regime for them through the garage, And then we're going to be having them working with building and zoning and the inspectors so that they're familiar with those activities as well.
So I like the idea. I just think we just need more workers. You know, to do the work, to drive the trucks, to operate the Tatums and things like that. I think our inspectors do a sound job of seeing things. I think zone managers will help us get caught up on some things that we lack. No doubt about it. I'm not against it. But I really want to see our personnel, you know, in your department go from 204, it was at one point in time, 248. I would love to see it at least at 220, you know, to really, you know, theoretically, I think our city needs one of pretty much everything. I know me and the mayor talked about our street sweepers. I think that's important to at least have one for every quadrant. The same as a fly dumping crew, and you know, I know some areas don't have as much, so maybe we can back off there. As well as, you know, alley crews. Everywhere in our city doesn't have alley crews, but I think that's important because a lot of times what happens, you know, we have areas of need that's in need every day, and you know there might be something somewhere else, and they have to be pulled off or whatever because we got work, you know, the workforce, and I get it, I respect it. So that's my spill on that. The railroad underpass, we're spending $10 million on that. I seen that in the budget. Now, is that reimbursed back to us, or is that just our investment on that?
We're reimbursed.
Okay, thank you. That's very, 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 very important information. Thank you. And as we hire, especially TDLs, you know, people who don't have the CDLs, I want us to keep pushing that. I think, you know, many people, you know, especially from our community, the dream job is working for the city and, you know, getting out here and stuff. So I think, you know, the opportunity to gain a CDL with the city and train and is big for us.
Alderman, if I may,
Sure.
we've established a CDL training program.
Okay.
And we have a number of individuals that are in it right now.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I think that's how we grow. And my last point, I got a lot of other notes, but we'll continue to have conversations. But I'll say I would like to see, you know, some of our sewer work previously, for particularly my ward, because I'll say that I agree that we northeast side has to be done. We're under, you know, federal mandate to do those things. I'm going to support that wholeheartedly. But I'm not particularly happy to support a sewer increase, especially if we have not put in the work, you know, in this community. And this may be predate you, Nate, whoever. I just want to make sure that we've addressed the sewers on the east side of town as well.
Most definitely. In our older areas, there are a lot of failing sewers, and that is built into the rate plan is to do $1 to $1.5 million in sewer improvements throughout the city, not on top of the ARPA improvements we're already doing that we showed in the slide for this fiscal year.
All right, because that's a big deal. You know, we're going to be, I can tell you that that's something I get questioned about, not just the sewer, just bills in general. When they get that CWLP bill, what's this, what's that, what's this, what's that? So when they get this and, you know, and it's increased, you know, that's going to be a big deal for people, some people. Anyway, some people are going to be like, man, you know, $17 is, you know, real talk. So I just wanted to express that and make sure that, you know, if we're going to do that, I want to make sure, you know, our community is getting their $17 per person worth. Thank you.
And we can share the list with you, how we came up with those numbers.
Appreciate you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Rockford.
Yes, thank you. Director Fuchs, the zone managers, I think the zone managers are a good thing. I think it's a liaison between ourselves and bothering the directors or the mayor or other council members. I think we can send these people out, and if there's a problem area, let them investigate it. I think what's going to happen is we're going to find out we're going to come to a point where we don't have enough people to get things done because there's going to be tickets wrote up and work orders and this kind of stuff. But I think the zone managers are a good thing. Maybe they can double dip and help clean up at the same time. You know, I know union stipulations, but I think the zone manager is a good step. My next question is on the road improvements for 2025 fiscal year. Can we get a list of roads that are gonna be done? Is there a place we could look and see?
Certainly, and that's one of the reasons we like to meet with the alderman in our office, so that we can go through all
Okay.
the plans and everything that we're working with, and get any feedback that we can from you. So,
Sure.
So I look forward to that.
Okay, in your initiatives, planning and designing, yard waste and compost facility design, can you elaborate on that? Kind of, is this for the trees, and is this like a Rex Evans type setup?
Yeah, and it's more of a long-term plan.
Okay.
Rex is doing it right now, but it's more of a long-term plan. We do have the property where we're looking at putting the streets and traffic facility. So, long-term wise, we're looking at laying it out and figuring out the best way to lay
Sure.
out the land and operate efficiently as possible.
Well, and I hope we understand the undertaking and the equipment and the manpower and the trucking and everything that goes into this. It's a huge cost. So hopefully it's way down the road.
Yeah, and we're looking at solid waste infrastructure for recycling grants in order to help fund the project so that we can have those large capital costs. But like I say, it is down the road, but,
Sure.
We have to plan for the future
Right,
eventually.
right. And the last thing I've talked to both of you is demos for the north end of town, please, and thank you.
Yep, and we
That's
did
it.
have a pre-construction meeting this morning with Green Track, who is going to be doing numerous demos. They are planning on starting abatement on the 23rd of January, and then my guess is a couple weeks later, they will actually be doing the demos after they do the abatement.
And the funds will roll over if the work isn't completed by the end of the fiscal year.
That's
Correct?
correct.
Okay,
We
Awesome.
have money budgeted for
Thank you.
those. And those are actually, I believe those are motor fuel tax funds, since those are rail-related projects.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you, Chair. Director, I'm actually going to start with a little bit of a criticism of your presentation. You had a lot of accomplishments listed there, and I was very impressed with that. You completely skipped over the derecho. And I want you to know that I continue on a regular basis to get thanks from my constituents for the work that your crews did. Following that storm, they recognized the hours that went in, and I think you really need to build that one up a little more, because they're truly, the city is extraordinarily grateful for the work of your crews and everything that the public works people did. So please take that one back again. I know I've said it more than once to you, but that's as critical as I'm going to get, I think, for right now. A couple of notes just real quickly. Obviously, I'm looking forward to scheduling a sit-down meeting with you for the specific projects in my ward. There are some roads that I get complaints about on a regular basis. Nate knows them from years in the past, and I'm hoping we can work them into the schedule for next year. So I won't go over that right now. A couple of comments. I also am very much looking forward to having my regional manager. You talked about some of the training they're going to be doing and the connections. Please include a meeting, a sit-down time with the council members who will be, working with these zone managers so that we know who they are. We can share some of the repetitive problem properties that we have, some of the areas of concern that we have in our ward. So please make sure that that is part of those regional managers' trainings.
Most certainly, we wanted to make sure that they were completely familiar with our process, our crews, and our capabilities.
Before we start corrupting them?
Well, I wouldn't say that. But it's a proactive approach, something that I don't think we have been doing. The idea is to deal with issues and the people who are dealing with issues before they actually become problems.
And that's absolutely what we need. And so I'm looking forward to this. I just want to make sure that it's really part of that schedule of training, that we have a dedicated time to sit down, and I'll need a little bit of time to make sure I can get it on my calendar. But it's really important, because I can tell you I have certain neighborhoods that they're great neighborhoods with really wonderful people who are trying to anchor them and keep them solid.
And I'm really looking forward to these regional managers being part of that solution process. And then finally, the sewer work, which I think this council has repeatedly supported. Very happy to send ARPA funds to that. Some of the things, and Nate, I was planning, I will talk about this a little more too, I'm assuming you're going to be part of this conversation. I'd like to see the city really start to look into some of the green infrastructure solutions that are available. You know, we talk about water management, we talk about water management in the sewer systems. I'd like to see that we also start to incorporate, you know, before it hits the sewer, how can we manage that water so that as it's moving from property onto roads or sidewalks, you know, we're looking at some of, and I know we're going to be at the same conference, I'm sure, in March. But there is money, there are state funds with the derecho and, you know, the presidential disaster declaration. We know that there will be hazard mitigation grant funds that will be available to our community. We need to be very proactive in planning to make sure that we can take advantage of those grant funds and do some of that green infrastructure kind of work to manage waters before it becomes a street flooding or a sidewalk flooding or just a general flooding concern.
Yeah, I concur wholeheartedly, and that's why we're working on stormwater master planning, which will definitely have green infrastructure components within that.
Wonderful. And so we need to make sure that we're ready to jump on these grant funds because there are going to be a significant amount. I mean, we will have a significant amount of federal dollars that will be, you know, we put in our match and wow, we can make some really great things happen. So thank you for that, Nate. I assumed you probably were thinking along those lines, but I wanted to make sure that that's part of that forward planning. And in terms of budgetary impacts, that we're looking to use these grant managers and the two halves of a person who are coming to join Amy in planning and economic development. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be very brief. I think I got 3 questions because my colleagues have kind of asked all of them by now. With the stormwater master planning and what Alderman Rockford talked about with the yard waste under planning and designing, are there benchmarks, Nate, that you can kind of share with us every so often? Because it's a lot to digest when we come to budget. That's when we hear a lot of things that's going on, from things that y'all have been working on, improvements, initiatives, but just like throughout the year, can you kind of give us a little bit of a benchmark to say, hey, this is where we're at, this is how much more we got left to do?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, and do you have a little bit of an update? Because sewer seems to be a really, really big thing, and I witnessed a major flood last year downtown between US Bank, like around Adams Street. It was a main that broke in the middle of the road and it just flooded out right there in all of those businesses' basements. And so just learning about how that process is working for our master plan.
Well, we have different types of sewers. We have the sanitary sewers. We are planning on doing a lot of relining in the older parts this upcoming construction season, bidding it out hopefully within the next few months.
Okay.
We're planning on doing a lot of lining projects in order to help that out. In regards to flooding, I'm not sure if that may have been a water main break, depending on how that was described.
It was in the middle of the road.
Yeah, we have water mains throughout the middle of the road, and obviously they have aging infrastructure as well, and are having a battle with aging infrastructure and having enough funds in order to do those improvements. But sanitary sewer is the exact same way. And where, you know, if we can obviously do these lining projects, it's a lot more cost effective than having to dig it up and do the main replacements. So we're planning on obviously proposing
Okay.
an increase so that we can start to do these projects, $1 million to $1.5 million a year throughout the city, as well as definitely tackling the Northeast US EPA order, basically using $1.3 to $8.1 million per year for the next 12 years in order to be compliant with the US EPA order.
Okay, and then I guess my next question would be just continuing that education, because I've sent you emails before. You are very diligent about answering, but like some areas in my ward don't have sidewalks at all. So they'll ask, well, how come we can't get sidewalks? And you'll explain it to them. Or how come our road can't get widened and people can't seem to go around or gotta wait for one car to go through before the other car can come back? I guess just continuing education and probably asking you to come to some of my neighborhood associations, because I tell them I am not the expert. I am just a liaison to be able to relay your message over to our department heads and have them to answer those questions.
Yeah, and just takes funding, unfortunately. So we have to do a balancing act. We're obviously trying to use as many preventative maintenance measures as we can to extend the life of the roads, such as the microsurfacing, the crack filling. And then sidewalks, we generally have about 125,000 square feet, so in essence, approximately $1 million per ward that we can spend funds on for sidewalks.
And the last thing is, I did want to commend you because you all did Governor, where it's the brick road, and you had to do all of that sewer work and put down all of those bricks again. And then you just did one over in Vinegar Hill, and the communication with the neighbors to say, hey, your water is going to be stopped at this time today, or we need to be over here on this road at this date. It has been a huge improvement, so I do want to thank you all in your department for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Mayor Busher.
Thank you. I have 4 things, sorry. The first thing is I want to thank the 4 people sitting in front of me and the entire agency. Public Works is a very big department with a lot of stress, and it runs like a clockwork. I very rarely hear complaints, so I just have to say thank you to each of you. Secondly, CCE, would you, oh, by the way, I just call him CCE for Chief City Engineer, it's easier, so CCE. Can you please talk about See-Click Fix for a minute to our aldermen and alderwomen for me?
Yes, so we are planning on getting See-Click Fix. It's a software that will allow us to do reported problems a lot smoother, a lot easier. It's an app that you can just download on your phone, and then it can, if you allow it to, it can geolocate exactly where you're at, and you can snap a picture, which will improve operations, and it automatically goes into CityWorks, creating that service request, which allows for operational efficiency.
Great.
Is that coming?
That's a great thing.
Clap on that. That sounds good.
They forgot about it.
Dave, you saved, you ain't gotta hear from me no more.
They forgot See-Click Fix.
So
Wait,
is that,
I'm
is that,
happy.
We've got See-Click Fix in the derecho.
They're all going to sign up to speak now.
when is that
Go ahead,
coming?
Mayor.
You can ask. She wants to know how long it'll be.
Just,
Hopefully 2 to 3 months.
You'll all be very excited. Your constituents are going to love it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you ready?
So, so that leads me to the next comment, which is there have been changes with this administration, and the changes that I have made are based on what I hear from the community. Knocking on doors, talking to neighborhoods, going to their association meetings. These are the things people complain about, which is why the changes are taking place. So I just want to explain that. I ask for your support with the zone managers. I think that that's going to be a proactive way to help your neighbors not have to call you as often. I ask for your support, and you all got an email from me on our projects manager. Matt McLaughlin has agreed to delay his retirement to be our projects manager. And you have all heard, just as much as I have, how hard it is to do business in City Hall. And that is going to be our solution. So I'm just asking your support on those things. And lastly, the sewer rate increase, because that is a tough subject. In 2022, the city was told you have to do these repairs on the northeast side of town, which Alderman Rockford represents and I live by. And I've gone to every public meeting for those, and there's never been a talk of funding that. There is no way I can come up with, and it will be more than $71 million. So it is the only way I could figure out how to deal with that mandate. So just explaining to you why that's there. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions of the mayor? That topic? Okay. Alderman Hanauer.
thank you, and I apologize for going, I forgot a couple things, but, then with Nate talking, he spurred me to, ask a couple things. First of all, you know me, I'm pretty much straight to the point. I can't support the yard waste, taking over the yard waste, facility, starting our own. I don't see Rex going anywhere for a while. And if it came down to it, we should just, we should look at talking about buying him out before we start our own facility. Especially now, and we shouldn't spend any money on it or that, whatever. With the budget the way it is right now, it's just not something a direction we should look at. I don't doubt, and I know that we have issues with facilities. I do know we have issues. We have issues in this building. We have terrible issues. Tim's office, when he walks in the morning, he can see his breath. We've got windows that leak like crazy. We have HVAC systems that are older than this building is, because we got them from a state building. You know, this building, as far as I know, has never been renovated. So I get it. We've got some facility stuff that we have to deal with, but you know, us looking at, you know, CWLP wants a brand new building, and I know you guys want a brand new building, and everybody wants a brand new building. And, you know, I think that it's going to come at some pretty high price tags. And that's something that probably I'm not going to have to deal with, because I've got 3 years left. But, you know, that's something that's going to have to be addressed as well. The sewer tax, if we don't do it, we're in violation of the EPA, and they'll come down on us hard. It'll, you know, we've got a lot of tough decisions to make, because between the sewer tax, the water rates, because we'll hear that they're going to come in, and the water fund is not doing well at all. We've all been told that. You know, right now, with the way our budget is, you know, 12.2% is not good. And even if we go to the 90% and that's 14, we'll be down to 12.9, I'll bet, by the time we start next year. And you guys have seen the projections of the next 3 years. So, you know, a lot of this, you know, I've heard people say, well, I can't vote for that, I can't vote for this. We may not have a choice, folks. We just may not have a choice. Are we going to tell EPA no? I mean, it doesn't affect my ward at all. But that's something that I'm going to have to vote for, because you can't tell EPA no. They'll come in and they'll hit us with a fine that'll kill us. So, off my soapbox, I just want to say that I understand the facilities part, but we got to come up with a better plan, because we got too many groups that want their own buildings. Maybe we need to look at something, consolidation or something for you know, down the road. But that's the mayor's office decision. And, you know, but I'm just concerned, because we've got everybody wanting all brand new shiny stuff. Fire department wants brand new shiny stuff. They want to buy brand new equipment. You know, they don't want to take their furniture with them. Now, I moved 3 years ago. I moved to a new house. Guess what? Every bit of my old furniture went with me. And when they come up, I can guarantee you that they're not going to get new furniture, at least if I have a say so, for that when they're moving firehouses. We just can't afford it right now. And people, you know, Mayor, I'll ask you to ask the departments again, let them know this kind of stuff they can cut before they come to us. We don't have to be the ones to do it. And if they want me to cut, Lord knows I've cut for the last 8 years. And so I'm just asking that you go back and tell them we got to cut things out. So thank you, and great job. You guys do a great job for me, for all of us. And you know, I know we call you at all hours and email you at all hours, and you know, Dave, you do a great job, and welcome aboard, and wait till your first snow. You may be running for the hills. So
Thank you, Alderman. As far as the facility, the City Hall campus, the mayor has asked us to perform an assessment, so that's on the list. That's one of the things we're working on.
walk in his office tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, and that'll be a good assessment. Thank you.
Alderman Williams.
Yeah, thank you, real quick. So, I don't know what he's talking about, but we have to keep zone managers at least at 5, because we're already going to be sharing one. I wanted one for myself, as you guys know. I was told, oh, you're not getting a zone manager just for Ward 3, so I'll have to share with another ward probably. If it's 10 wards and it's 5 zone managers, it'd be 1 zone manager probably for each ward. So I'm encouraging you to not change that or move that, let it stay 5, and Alderman Gravy would be all right. The second thing is, on the facility, so Clear Lake, I think that's a perfect spot and a perfect ward for a new facility, and actually the whole damn city can go straight up. That's how much land is over there. So, yes, Mayor, I'll be glad to go on the tour, and if we ever, and it is down the road, of course, Alderman Hanauer, and you and I probably be long gone before we get to that, at the rate that this department moves, Nate. But after they study it for 20 years, we'll then finally probably get this new facility, but I like where it's going. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. I'll just say that, when people ask occasionally what it's like to be an alderman, and I like to describe it as, there's really 2 parts. One is addressing the needs of the neighborhood, and the second part is being here in this room, and I think it's no secret which part I like the most, and joke, but anyway. Helping the neighborhoods, though, helping the neighborhoods is something that Public Works has been a key part of, and I can't thank the department enough, the men and women that are on the streets, that help with evaluating what the problems are, help address the issues, and the responses that we've gotten over the years. It is appreciated more than you know, because that's what changes at the neighborhoods. It may be something minor one day, like a crack in a sidewalk, or a neighbor's yard that has grass, 2 feet tall, or a house that's dilapidated. But it might be something major too. And all of those things combined help change neighborhoods for the better. These conversions of roads from oil and chip to asphalt, it's like giving a neighborhood a facelift, and it's so much appreciated. So I know you got a lot of miles of road, a lot of underground infrastructure to deal with, but just know that when it comes down to it, we want to support you, and I think I speak for everyone here, and we want to make sure we change our neighborhoods for the better. We have hard decisions to make with the budget this year. That 12.2 or whatever the fund balance is the closer we get, just remember, the closer we get to 10% as a fund balance, we can't make payroll. And needless to say what it says for the next couple of years. So there's going to be some hard decisions that need to be made in this room. And I hate to say it, but there's going to have to be some cuts or some realignments or whatever you want to call them. But we're also going to have to be cognizant of the fact that if you have some wonderful, crazy idea to add a new program that's going to cost a lot of money, it's not there, folks. It's just not. So I hate to be so blunt about it, but that's what I thought about last night. I thought the hearing went. It was a good time. We spent a lot of time last night talking about the kickoff and the proposal, and we got into some departments. But we got a lot of hard work to do. And Mayor, again, I can't thank you enough for giving us the time. We still have, the budget isn't formally even introduced as a part of our process. That's something that will be done in February. We have the whole month of February after the hearings to take a hard look at things. And I just want to thank you for that, giving us that time, because it's important. And gentlemen and ladies that aren't here, thank you for your time tonight. As a reminder, unless someone else has something to say about this evening, our next budget workshop is the 18th of January. That evening, we will have HR, as we heard earlier, and Police and Fire. That will begin at 5:30 and be in this room. An OBM. And we, of course, have council Tuesday night. So everybody have a safe weekend, a safe trip home this evening. Be safe with the weather, stay warm, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we did. There you go.